Yo, what's up, guys? Probably scared the crap out of you. Ha! Deal with that. What's going on, guys? What's up? Let's have a look at what's going on in the charts first. That's how we do. We like to get started on the charts. Then we get into the news. Then we get into the chat. We have ourselves blast. All right, guys. So, JASMY right here fighting the resistance in the buy zone here at 1 cent 773. Can we break out of there? Can we continue to the upside? We'll find out, guys. We will find out. But yeah, I mean, we wicked up. I told you guys the other day we were probably coming down into this buy zone again. We have very, very nicely. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin tomorrow, guys. Now, listen, I did a video of where I think Bitcoin could go coming up here, guys. You know, there's a lot of bullish signs. There's a lot of bearish signs. So, you know, we're going to have to take it day by day. So far, we have a green candle. We're going to have to get our daily back up over $70,000 mark, close above there. What I'm thinking here, guys, like, listen, a lot of people are like, oh, they're uncertain about what's going on here, guys. No. Okay, this is not uncertainty. This is good. This is good. And I'm going to tell you why it's good, okay? So check me out right here, yo. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Higher highs, higher lows continue to be set in Bitcoin's daily chart, right? We are seeing these higher highs and higher lows, guys. This is bullish. Very, very bullish, okay? So we had to come down. We had to set a higher low to continue to the upside, okay? So that's why it's not a bad thing, guys. It's not a bad thing. In fact, Bitcoin is bullish to the point where it would need to fall below $59,000 for me to be bearish on what's going on with Bitcoin, okay? So I'm not even worried about it, guys. I'm not even worried about it. Let's check out the crypto bubbles, see what's going on across the bubbles. Swift has been pumping for 2 days, so of course it's having a little bit of a correction, which is good for some people that wanted to continue to DCA, so a little bit of an opportunity there. Market recovery everywhere else. Bitcoin 69,700 up 0.67%. JASMY up 0.37%, 1 cent 759. We look across the broader market, there's still some good DCA opportunities out there, guys. GFAL, Ondo. Guys, Ondo at 67 cents. Yes, sir. May I have some more, please? Optimism. Absolutely, guys. Very bullish on Optimism. $1.53. Taraxa, Trios, EOS, Manta, Telos, Wagami, Pith. Some good opportunities, guys. Do not sleep on these opportunities. You may not get them for much longer. All right, what do we got? I will get to the chat afterwards, guys. If you have an altcoin you want me to look at, check out the goal. There's new goals YouTube has for streaming live. Check out the goal in the pinned comments there in the chat. There is a goal. So if you want me to do a price prediction on one of your favorite altcoins, check out the goal and I will be there for you. All right, so what do we got? Robert Breedlove and Bram Kenston explain why 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin.
I think it's also interesting to think about what does Bitcoin then actually produce, right? And I think it's the certainty towards the future, the fact that there's a limitation, as you mentioned before, right, in the amount. That means that all the energy stored in Bitcoin right now will never be diluted. It can actually only become more once more people adopt Bitcoin. You know, the total amount of energy that's stored into Bitcoin will eventually also become more. But this constant is the thing that gives us, or that lowers the uncertainty of the future. It's that every 10 minutes, these 20,000 nodes say, you know, this monetary policy is still good. We can stick with this, and we don't have to wait for any press conference or any people telling us what the Bitcoin is actually worth. And I actually did an analysis last week because I heard Christine Lagarde, the ECB president talk about, you know, €1 is €1. You know, it's kind of like we say one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, but she's
lying.
In 1999, €1 was €1. Now that euro is 30 cents.
Yeah.
And what does one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin then actually mean? It means that going from the €1 to the 30 cents will never happen. And that is confirmed and kept like that by computers and not people.
Yeah.
And I feel that is the way for us to also, instead of having trust in other people that they will take care of us, right? The government will take care of us, or they will, you know, do their task or the central banks will do their the tasks that they have, that you can actually start focusing on trusting yourself.
Yes.
More.
What is beautiful.
Yeah.
We need people to trust themselves and not have the childlike mentality of, you know, someone's coming to save me or someone's going to take care of that. Like, obviously we all need to outsource certain things, but they need to be done consensually, and there still needs to be an underlying taking of responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just, there's a Peterson quote. He says something like, opportunity lurks wherever responsibility has been abdicated. And so opportunity, I mean, that could be a good thing. Like, you could build a solution to that where someone's like not taking responsibility for themselves, but it's also vulnerable to opportunism. Right. And the central bank is definitely an opportunistic institution. It's like, oh, if everyone just trusts us to manage this money supply and we dilute it slowly enough, they're none the wiser.
Yeah.
And in fact, we can use some of the proceeds we steal to infect education, to tell them it's good for them. And before you know it, it's this whole giant misunderstanding, right? That people are now indoctrinated into believing that they need this money, and that one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. People get very confused on this.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? That is such a tautology. You're not saying anything at all. $1 is $1, €1 is €1. I was like, no, actually, you are saying something.
Yeah.
Whatever Bitcoin you have, one Bitcoin, you know, you have a guaranteed fraction of the total money supply possible.
Yeah.
1 of 21 million, right? You don't know that for dollars. You don't know that for euros. You don't even know that for gold, right? You have an amount of money that represents the goods that are purchasable by it. But if that supply expands, the denominator expands, and the numerator stays the same, what you're holding in money, well, then your purchasing power goes down.
Yeah. So then it's not the same, right? But I think this connected with what you said about this outsourcing of responsibility. These are two different kind of like dimensions that also tie into Bitcoin, right? You mentioned before we recorded, like there's probably like 15 topics that you can mention that all touch Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
And that's also why I feel like it's just so, eventually Bitcoin is very, very simplistic. It's just a thing that stays the same, right? It's a protocol, a monetary protocol that has rules, and the promise is that it stays the same, and anyone can check every 10 minutes if it's still like that.
Yeah.
If yes, you know, continue using it. That's basically it.
So basically what he's saying here, guys, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that no centralized figure can water it down. There is a fixed supply, as most of us know, right? So one Bitcoin is always going to equal one Bitcoin, regardless of the value of it, right? They're not going to be able to print or mint or print a whole bunch of other Bitcoins to water down the value of your Bitcoin like they do with your fiat money. They steal it from you by printing more money, decreasing. I had a conversation with a friend of mine at work the other day. And he was talking about how he has some money set aside that he wants to use to invest, because just keeping it in an interest account, he's getting 3%. Okay, fantastic. But his purchasing power is reduced by about 11% a year, probably more so this year, this calendar year, because they're going to start printing money again, right? So that money is not going to be worth, if it's $100,000 5 years from now, it's not going to be worth $100,000 anymore, right? They steal your money that way, guys, right? And normies don't really understand that, okay? Oh, we have a Legend of Alexander wants me to do a price prediction on Rare. Thank you so much for helping us reach our goal, man. Okay, let's go have a look at Rare real quick, guys. If you want me to do the same, guys, if you want me to look at your altcoin, maybe do a price prediction on it, then you know what to do. You know what to do. Same thing as Legend of Alexander, my main man, my brother from another mother. Let's have a look. Super Rare. I know you had me look at this the other day. Up 31.3% on the day. Damn, that will rock your world, man. Back, it's up to a $92.68 million market cap. Very nice. Yes, I remember. I really did like the tokenomics on this as well. Very, very nice tokenomics. About 71% of the supplies in circulation. Man, it's having a fantastic day, fantastic week. Absolutely love to see that, man. All-time high 3 years ago in the bull run, $3.64. Based on the tokenomics, let me see. Where's it listed? Where are we listed? Okay, so we're on Binance. Let's go pull up the chart on Binance. Just looking it up here. Bear with me. Rare. All right, let's have a look at the chart for Rare, shall we? All right, look at that run today. Broke above the 100-day SMA, and then yesterday, and then fell back below it, but fighting to get back above it here. It's been consolidating very nicely. What's the all-time look like? Let's get a look at the all-time here. Zoom out a little bit. We're on the daily. Well, it had a nice run back in August. I remember you telling me it had a nice run in August as well. Very, very nice. Very nice. All right, so we've been kind of consolidating here for quite some time, right? Since we had a fall down, this is probably when Bitcoin fell in August, right? August, July. Yeah, August 26th, we had that big crash on Bitcoin. So that's kind of why we had that fall. But we have been in this kind of, you know, a little bit of a, oh, hang on, little bit of a descending channel here for quite some time, right? We're trying to get above, and we finally had that breakout, as we see here. Finally had that breakout of this this descending channel that it's been in since August, really. I mean, but this is this very similar thing to most altcoins right now. Very similar to Jasmy's chart, to Onyx Coin's chart, to Swift's chart, right? So we have this breakout. Now, what I think is going to happen here is we could ping pong between the 200-day and the 100-day SMA. If you zoom in, that's kind of what we're doing here, right? It's kind of what we're doing. You see what I mean? Now, if we can catch support here, but what would be healthy is to kind of retest the top of the trend line here and then breaking to the upside. That would be bullish, but I'll take a bounce off the 200-day SMA and then to the upside as well. That would be perfect. It just needs a little bit of momentum to get above and stay above the 100-day SMA, and it should be good to go. Should be good to go. Let me kind of, where do I think this will go? This is actually going to have a decent little run, I think. It's going to have a decent little run, my friend. Let me just search my tools here. Hang on. I haven't used the fib retracement in a while, so let's use that. What are we looking at here? So, I mean, you're probably looking at a run anywhere, you know, If we get back up to the 0.5 Fibonacci, you're looking at about 22 cents, right? The 618, you're looking at, I mean, right, let's put these lines in here. The 618, you're looking at about 25 cents. The 786, you're going to come back up somewhere around 29 cents. So these are your targets. But what we need is Bitcoin. We need Bitcoin to break out first, right? But that's where I think you're going to be headed on your next move for rare, right? These are your next targets. So that's what I would pay attention to. And yeah, wait for a retest, maybe a break up to this level, maybe meet some resistance at the 0.5 Fibonacci. And hopefully if Bitcoin's running, you're going to smash right through that. Probably inside this range here. This is going to be your golden pocket, right? So between the 618 and the 0.5 Fibonacci, that's where I would target, my friend. So thank you so much for the contribution. Samil, let me know if I'm saying your name correctly. Samil, thank you so much for the super sticker, my friend. Absolutely appreciate it. If you have an altcoin you want me to look at, make sure you send it, guys, in the super chat. I will do a price prediction on that for you as well. And yeah, so absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, let's get back into the news, guys. What else do we got? Okay, so we watched that. Let's get into this 21 shares. Check this out, guys. We got some bullish news here. So 21 shares looks to secure an SEC approval for an XRP ETF amid growing interest in other crypto funds. Check it out. So investment firm 21 Shares is pursuing regulatory approval for a spot XRP exchange traded fund following similar proposals from other companies. 21 Shares filed an S1 registration statement with the SEC on Friday. The fund, called the 21 Shares Core XRP Trust, will be listed on the CBOE BZX exchange. Coinbase Custody Trust Company will be its custodian. 21 Shares remains committed to working towards expanding U.S. investor access to the cryptocurrency asset class, and we look forward to driving innovation in the U.S., a spokesperson for 21 Shares said in the email statement to the block. Guys, I'm pretty sure this is the fourth spot XRP ETF application. Firms have been vying for different crypto ETFs over the past year after the SEC approved the crypto ETFs for the first time earlier this year. In January, the regulator approved 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs and soon after gave the green light for the Ethereum ETF. VanEck filed for a Solana ETF in June, followed by 21 Shares for a similar product. Canary Capital filed last month to see if it could get the SEC's approval for a spot Litecoin ETF. Other firms are also looking to get the green light for a spot XRP ETF, including Canary Capital and Bitwise. A spot XRP ETF has not been approved by the SEC before, and if it does, it could face challenges. The SEC has been embroiled in a legal fight with Ripple after the agency accused the company of raising $1.3 billion through the sales of XRP, which it viewed as an unregistered security. The lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC is ongoing. Over a year ago, the U.S. District Court of Southern District of New York Judge Annalisa Torres ruled that some of Ripple's sales, called programmatic sales of XRP, did not violate securities laws because of a blind bid process in place for them. She did, however, rule that the other direct sales of the token from institutional investors were securities. So basically, institutional sales of XRP were labeled securities. Secondary market sales, like you and I are purchasing, are definitely not securities. So very bullish there. So guys, for spot XRP ETFs, I've been following the case since its inception, and I got to be honest with you, my mind is blown that this is not a bigger deal right now. It really is. We have come so far in such a short amount of time when it comes to these ETFs. It's unbelievable, guys. The crypto space in general. Solana ETF applications, Litecoin ETF applications, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. What is next? Which one will get approved first? That is what's on everybody's mind. And will it, here's another interesting question, guys. Will it have an impact on the price of XRP or Solana or Litecoin or whichever ETF gets approved first? Because it didn't really have much of an effect on Ethereum, right? And now I'm hearing a lot of different reasons why that might be. Some people say, well, the big wigs, the people who are investing in the Bitcoin ETFs, they understand that Bitcoin is a hedge, it's digital gold, stuff like that. However, they don't understand Ethereum and its use case because they're not technologically savvy. So it might take time for someone to have to explain to them. They need to learn what blockchain is, what layer ones are, what this means, right? So it might take a little bit of time for these other ETFs, altcoin ETFs, to take hold, because again, these bigwigs, these hedge funds, these larger investors, these whales, they want to know what they're investing in, right? And they have a universal understanding that Bitcoin is just a hedge, right? They don't have to understand the technology behind it. So, but with something like XRP's ETF, it might be a little bit different. They might need to understand what it is, no different than they need to understand what Ethereum is. That's why the ETF, in my opinion, is not really booming. And we have a visit here, guys. Boom. What's up, brother? You're mic'd.
Sorry about that. I have literally a million tabs up because I've been working all day, and I've also been doing research in between work. So I literally have like 100 tabs or more up. But good to see you, brother. How you doing, man? Been a while.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. I want to start. Listen, I wanted to let you know, I left the bar yesterday. Like, I quit. I'm not working there anymore. So I'm hoping we can get together a lot more often now. And we haven't been able to connect that much lately. But I know you're working like a madman right now too. So
yeah, still 3 jobs, 7 days a week. I just posted on X that it's gonna be a special guest over in your platform. So maybe you'll get some even that much more people. That'd be cool. You already had a decent crowd here, which is awesome. Glad to see you guys. I guess I'm gonna be do you want to let the cat out of the bag about what's coming up with you and I? Or
fire away, brother.
Well, on Sunday we're gonna do a collaboration, everybody, Rob and I, and it's gonna be at what was it? What did we agree there? 4 Eastern, so 3 Central. Yeah, and we're gonna share some new things in regards to JASMY. I have some research. Shout out to Lil Bidman. He's been sending me some of these things, but I thought I would share some of this stuff with you guys. I don't know how. Let's see here. You've been live for 35 minutes. So I want to respect your time. But at the same time, there's some new developments that have recently came up. And if anything, I could share a little bit of that with your community if you like.
Yeah, I'm just getting started, buddy. I got lots of time left. So fire away, man. Fire away. I mean, last time I saw you, this beard was black. So come on. Let's go.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, I need to, I don't know, probably do something with mine a little bit here in a bit. So, anyway, yeah, I was going to mention to you guys, smash that like for Rob. He's awesome. We might not see eye to eye on everything about, like I saw your video about, you're going to front run the market. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to do 50 cents, but hey, I respect that. I respect that you probably have more than a big enough bag if you're doing 50 cents. That tells me something, and you don't have to let the cat out of the bag on that. But anyway, nonetheless, I know a lot of you guys are wondering about some of the things going on with JASMY. Some people have messaged me and they said, hey man, you don't cover JASMY as much. The heck I don't. When I do cover JASMY, I still give you guys those deep dives. So sometimes people don't have time for those deep dives, but whatever the case be, it's all good. You know, we only got so much time in our day. But so I'm going to jump into for you guys is I'm going to bring this up on your screen here in just a bit. And actually, I'm going to start off with this. So Lil Bidman, a lot of you guys know about Lil Bidman, absolute great researcher, came in long before I did. And nonetheless, you know, something he pointed out to me was some things I'm going to pull up on your screen. So the first thing I'm actually going to get into is some of these concepts. And so he mentions a while back, at least, and I know I don't have it on the screen, but I'm going to pull it up here in a second. So something that kind of caught his attention is from a Japanese site. It's called Kinto Unlimited. Now, maybe some of you guys saw some things about this, and if anything, I'll again pull it up. But man, I gotta get rid of some of these tabs, man. It's crazy. So I got
an Elliot King's hat you had on.
yeah, I got so much tabs up that it's too much. So I'm gonna have to close out of some of this stuff.
I do that all the time.
Come back. Yeah.
When I'm looking for news and stuff to talk about on the live stream, it's just 100 tabs up, right?
Well, it used to be able where you could just have as much as you want up, and then basically speaking, I don't know. Lately, it's like they want you to sort it a different way. I don't know. I might have to go with something else other than Google Chrome. But anyway, I'm gonna pull it up here in a bit. I apologize. You can get back to some comments and whatnot. I'll have it more ready. It was kind of spontaneous, but it's some good stuff, man. Like I think everybody needs to see what's going on here recently speaking, and
check out the comment while you're looking it up there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Funky, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Got the tab open in the background, waiting for the noise. I was doing the countdown before I went live. So, Samil, hey, anyone familiar with Base Blockchain L2 Ethereum network? I believe it's on Optimism, isn't it? Didn't they work with? Aren't they working with Optimism as well? I thought I read that earlier today, but yes, Base. I mean, they're not going to be coming out with their own coin, but I mean, it's not a bad idea to have some exposure to Base. A lot of things are going on over there. It's from Coinbase, right? It's their blockchain. Def Bank, what's up, buddy? Bruno, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Here, life. YM Chap, what's up, man? It's my birthday today. Used my birthday money to buy more Jasmy. Nice. So you got Jasmy for your birthday, is what you're saying. Happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday. Yamaha live while at work. That's the best time to listen in, man. That's the best time to listen in. Catching the live while at work. Samil, I think that elections crazy factors already baked into prices. No, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now about the election. It's, it doesn't really matter which way people are going to vote. I mean, you do you, boo boo, right? But I just think that there's too much uncertainty right now. And I was showing the chart, actually. I've been showing it lately on Bitcoin from the 2020 election. I'll actually put it on the screen while we're waiting. Check this out, guys. Now, if you're unfamiliar with 2020, so this here was the 2020 election that I have circled here. This is November 5th, roughly 2020. And it was essentially, this is the daily time frame too, guys, not like the weekly or the monthly. It was essentially up only. Well, I mean, you have like, a couple of like 30-40% corrections in there. You got to expect those, right? I mean, you got like 3 of them. But it was essentially up only when you zoom out all the way from November until April of 2020 to 2021. And then we had that little bit of a correction here in Bitcoin, probably fell about 50% while the altcoins started to run, right? Will we have a double top again this time in the bull run? I don't know, man. I'm not psychic, but I can tell you that, look how quickly after the election, things just started going up. And people can argue, they can say, well, Kamala versus Trump and, in terms of what the market's going to look like. But at the end of the day, this was a Biden election. This was a Democratic election. So, I mean, I think the market's going to pump either way, to be honest with you. It's just what it does. The 4-year cycle, to me, is the 4-year cycle. So So yeah, that's where I see it. Well, let's see what Max has for us.
All right. So if you good? I don't even know if I'm still with you. Am I with you?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I'm good, brother.
All right. I just had so many things up on the screen. So yeah, thanks guys for taking the time to obviously tune into Rob all the time. I mean, my God, you got like daily JASMY coverage. I basically reposted that and said give you a follow and all that. But something that was brought to my attention was this. It's basically concepts, and while it doesn't say directly JASMY, we'll get into some of the things that I have in regards to JASMY. So first thing I want to draw your attention to is this particular link. It's called bittimes.net. Lil Bidman reached out to me in regards to this, and you guys know, I mean, he's an awesome researcher, and he's been covering JASMY probably since like 2021, I would imagine. But what you're going to see here is the whole idea of industry first NFT certificates issued to safe drivers. Now, some of you guys know about this, like there's the soul bound token that's kind of doing this, and you may say, well, this has nothing to do with JASMY. Pump the brakes on that because you're going to want to see a little bit about this. So as you get further into it, yes, it dates back to last summer, but not many people talking about it. And I'll give you something literally 3-4 days ago that made recent news. So industry first NFT certificates issued to safe drivers. Toyota Kinto conducts demonstration experiment. In this, they get into a lot of things. I'm not gonna get into like all of it because I'm not really wanting to make a deep dive on Rob's show, but it's these experiments, right? So there's a car subscription service by Toyota Motor Corporation. Again, announced last May, but it began a demonstration experiment last June in regards to NFT certificates to drivers who drive safely and record those certificates, of course, on the blockchain. Kinto is a subscription service that allows you to drive new and used Toyota cars for a fixed monthly fee. And its unique feature, that allows you to pay all car related costs, purchase fees, car insurance, the whole shebang, right? When you get further down into here, it says certifying safe driving based, of course, on driving data from subscription vehicles. Well, what data is being pulled, right? More importantly, when it goes more into this, it says there was a report that NFT certificates will be used to create a system that makes various mobility services available at affordable prices. And, it gives you a demonstration of the experiment, gets more further into it and so on. But basically, it happened. I should say it started June 1st, 2024, and it's supposed to end actually at the end of this month. Now we're in this new month, November 1st. The target participants will be customers with current contracts for the U-grade, Toyota Prius and some of these other particular ones, right? And people pointing out, well, what stands out here is, for example, maybe one that you guys are into yourself in regards to the soul-bound token. Okay. But we understand also when it comes to JASMY and Toyota, and they got a real thing going on, right? So they have these different ratings, and it's all worth pointing out. All right, check this out. I'm going to now jump into this particular thing because I want you guys to understand, and this is from Lil Ben Band's notes, that there is a new iOS 18.1, and it uses what is called secure element. It's a chip for security. It's a chip which is embedded in the Felica NFC chip, and Lil Bidman feels as though it could be the JASMY chip that's also used in the secure PC and, of course, other IoT devices. But more importantly, it's like that's a new thing coming up, but it's this other thing in regards to what he's referring to with, again, interesting to see Toyota testing safe driving NFTs using the soul-bound token. Well, can JASMY enter into that whole space? I think the answer is yes. And where I'm going with that is to share a little bit in regards to that with you. So for one, this is what he's talking about in regards to Felica NFC chips, secure component that complies with global platform standard for secure components, near field communication, NFC specifications. So we've seen when it comes to the Internet of Things, all these examples of what data can be tracked, what data could be utilized. so on and so forth. But the SE chip enables Felica, and we know the connection when it comes to Felica and, of course, JASMY. And like it says, Type A, Type B communication with readers in stores. Now, what gets, again, interesting is when I pull up more information about this, immediately you see all sorts of publications all over the internet about My Number Card in Japan. 4 days ago, we forgot about this. 3 days ago, we forgot about some of these things, right? Because it hasn't been in the press that much. Nippon report about Japan to start My Number Card use as a driver's license. This is why I'm bringing it to you. Japan Times, government adopts ordering allowing use of My Number Card as a driver's license 3 days ago. Back to the whole thing of the Apple reference, and we haven't had any solid reference since then, correct? Right. Look at this other one from NHK. Japan's My Number Card to serve as driver's license from March, right? So it's like, okay, and again, the post 4 days ago. So as I got more into this, I decided to pick one particular one out of the mix, and I'll take you to the one from nippon.com. Japan to start My Number Card use as a driver's license. And what's important is to see that the Japanese government, at least was it Tuesday, so just, we're on Friday, just a few days ago, decided to introduce the My Number personal identification card functioning as a driver's license for use from, and look at that, March 24, 2025. Now, there was a cabinet meeting, there's government officials, we understand where Taro Kono comes into play. And again, a lot of people feel as though that he got a very negative reaction in regards to that. But he is even running for, I guess, re-election and political office and so on. But at a cabinet evening or meeting, the government adopted an enforcement order for the revised road traffic law related, of course, to the new system. Think about that, guys. Drivers can decide whether to integrate their licenses into their My Number cards. So when we talked about mandates in the past, it's like there was different forms of that. This is the new updated form of that, whether people want to agree with that or not. But again, it pounds home what Little Bidman was sharing in regards to that concept of the spellbound token, right? With Toyota. In my opinion, JASMY's got so much more going on with Toyota than spellbound, but nothing against them. But again, look at this. Drivers, as of March 24, 2025, will have 3 choices of using the My Number card incorporating a driver's license, using only the conventional license, and of course using both. But that's a big deal. And the other thing I want to mention from Little Bidman, as I got more into it and so on, was the whole thing. Let me see where it's at. Yeah, again, this is another story, but man, I mean, moving forward with a little more of IoT, that whole thing with Felica. So hopefully by the time I get with Rob this coming Sunday, I'll have a little bit more for you. But these are, a taste of things to come, to say the least. And, I'm glad to bring it to you. So I do want to get your thoughts on this in regards to it all, because Taro Kono, I mean, he was talking about a lot over the course of especially last year and a little bit of the beginning of this year. And now we're finally getting some updates, my friend.
Well, something actually came to mind while you were going through that, and it is the date of March of 2025. It's the same month that the My Number card is supposed to be integrated into the Apple iPhones.
That's a great catch. I mean, sometimes things are coincidences, as we know, but when it becomes examples of 3 or 4 times, is it, it's like, it's no longer a coincidence. I think there's something there. So yeah, absolutely. So we talked about these mandates. It's literally a mandate. I mean, it's going to be part of the driver's licenses, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And the thing is, for me, how long before that is more of a global thing? Right? I mean, we're already seeing them talk about it in Europe. Don't they have a similar card in Europe right now? I can't remember offhand what it's called, but there was a lot of speculation about 6 months ago that they were using similar technology to JASMY's via the My Number card, and there was speculation as to whether it was actually JASMY's technology that they were using in Europe for the same card. But knowing that JASMY has global patents, your thoughts?
You're 100% right. And you know, I get criticism about this, and it's okay. I mean, I got thick skin. Literally, look at me. You know, I'm pretty thick, right? Anyway, so what I'm saying is like, you know, so many people ask me all the time, like, why do you keep tying the whole thing like Quant and Jasmy? They're probably not even working together, and you would be right. But at some point, these two are going to clash. Basically, back to what you're saying in regards to very similar things going on. Well, it's the working groups. You know, ISO TC 307, the Quant network standard, which is the foundation for building on blockchain, they have multiple working groups in Japan. And then we also see cross reference of ISO IEC 27001 in regards to Jasmy. That's their particular certification. I even showed, I think it was one of my last deep dives about ISMS. You see that also with Quant. So it's like that's eventually going to be a real thing. So you have my number card in Japan. You have the whole thing of what we mentioned in regards to Europe. It just simply makes sense. Like, and the time frame, like you pointed out, like, you know, March, and to see this news now about what was, you know, literally posted all over Japan the last few days. I didn't see anybody really, you know, sharing it. And I just did a search, and I was like, well, you know, I haven't had a chance to take a break today. It's been like, but I'm glad to still bring you guys, you know, info and keep you informed. And of course, I love the Jasmy community for crying out loud. I don't get to cover it every day, but are you kidding me, man? Like, you go to my channel, you'll still see that the most amount of videos I ever put out on my channel is still Jasmy. Second place is Quant, but they're both right around the same. And then Stellar. But I'm never gonna forget about Jasmy, man. No way.
And it just makes sense too. I mean, like you were just saying, Jasmy and Quant are on a collision course at some point. I mean, they're running parallels here, and I mean, business is business at the end of the day. And when it makes sense for two companies like this to intercede, to you know, intercross and work together on something, business is business at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I mean, it's not that they will work directly together. It's, again, people need to understand when we talk about standards in place, you will have them cross paths, and people won't even realize, like, well, I didn't hear any announcement. Again, it's standards. It's just like, maybe people get tired of me saying that, but you know, I always use that age-old expression. You know, like, if I go, because you talked about Europe, I go to, you know, Holland right now, you know, where my buddy Sebastian's at, and I, you know, go kick it with Sebastian. It's like, all right, bring over my particular phone or whatever and try to plug it in over there, or a power cord. You know, like, let's say we're going to game it up. My power cord here in the United States does not work there. Apply that to Web3, my friends. It is literally the same concept. And you look at Quant with all that interoperability. They got two. Excuse me. You know, slogans now. First one was the foundation for building on blockchain, ISO TC 307, the Quant network standard. The newest one is the foundation for digital finance. And then you look at like the working groups, and again, the whole thing of ISO IEC 27001 is part of that. And you see the whole thing of, what was it, last March of last year, 2023, they went over to Japan and they did all that, and they laid the groundwork for those working groups in Japan. It just, I called a long time ago. I'm sticking to my guns. It's gonna be a real thing, but it's okay. People don't see the light. That's all right.
Speaking of the ISOs, I was just talking about a few minutes ago about I believe it's 4 XRP spot ETF applications right now. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Do you think that any of them or all of them will get approved while they're in the middle of an appeal process? Does it make sense? Or would it be a slap in the face to Gary? Would he be shooting himself in the foot by approving them whilst in a court case, you know, with Ripple? And, you know, do you think that it'll be the same thing as with Ethereum, where it didn't really affect Ethereum's price in a positive way? And my theory for that is because these larger investors and stuff, they understand what Bitcoin is and what it isn't, right? It's just a hedge. That's all it is. It's digital gold. Ethereum, now you've got blockchain technology. Now you've got, you know, all these other things. What does it do? Why am I investing in it? There's less of an understanding. And a similar thing can be said, especially for something like XRP. What are your thoughts on all that?
It's funny you mentioned all this. The thing I've been working on all day in between calls and work and so on is the whole thing or the hypothesis about what people have been mentioning for a while about, for example, XRP is gold, Stellar is silver. There was a recent announcement, and I'm going to put it in my outline, from Coinbase in regards to silver and XLM. And it's just like finally you're getting examples of the native currency, that the native coin being referenced. A lot of people are like tired of hearing just about like USDC and stuff like that. But they're going to hear about it a lot because in reality, it's like you see these projects where it's Ripple, especially Stellar, some of these other ones, they put a lot of emphasis on those stable coins because they realized that they had to kind of have like a backup plan, if you will. But now we're finally getting examples of like the native, coin, native token as part of these layer ones. An example would be Stellar. And so that's something I'm working on in regards to, Coinbase. And I see a lot of people posting about it, but I have some other things to get into in regards to, like, is this a real thing? And in regards to these cryptos, if you want to call it that, being backed by real precious metals, like, everybody said for the longest time, Stellar, was silver. And then so I know a lot of you guys follow this guy. His name is Lewis Jackson. He pointed out last year in regards to XRP and gold, he did a terrific job with that. And then somebody like came out and tried to debunk some of that. I have a recent new development from Martin Hargreaves of the Quant network referencing it. And if you've been following me in regards to my Basel III coverage and Quant and all that, it ties and confirms it all with an actual real interview from him. And he's the CTO over at the Quant network. So in regards to answering your question, for the whole thing with Gary Gensler, of course he's going to keep delaying it. He's going to delay it all the way up to the point in which he gets absolutely fired, hopefully, going into next year. I don't know when exactly that'll happen. So people say, no matter if it's Trump or if it's Kamala or whoever the case be, soon as they take office, he's gone. Hey, we don't know that, but, it's clear that he is going to go down with his own ship. And I was glad to see with a recent interview, I think you also maybe seen it, there was a particular gentleman that was from the SEC. I guess it's only him and two other guys out of a committee of, 100 of the SEC that were pro crypto, right? They're saying that what Gary Gensler was doing was wrong. I think it was like on CNBC or Fox. I can't remember. But yeah, Gensler's going to go down with the ship and he's going to keep fighting against it all.
Well, apparently what's been happening, there's actually an investigation right now by Patrick McHenry into the SEC because they have emails, I guess, that were sent to them that the SEC, Gary Gensler has actually been biasly hiring at the SEC based on his political views when it comes to digital assets. So now they're actually investigating the fact that he was doing that, right? That's why there's so many people who are anti-crypto at the SEC, because Gary was cherry picking people who were anti-crypto so he could fit his agenda, right? But from my understanding, in terms of him getting fired, Trump actually cannot fire him. But what they can do, he can't be fired unless you'd have to be able to prove it in court that he was willfully negligent or something like that to fire him, right? You couldn't terminate his term early. But what you could do is Trump could demote him from being the chair and he would still be a commissioner and he could promote one of the other commissioners to the chair.
Yeah, and we've also, this was brought up. That's a good thing that you mentioned. This guy I was talking about that was recently interviewed that is a pro, blockchain DLT guy. I forgot his name. He's, I think he's like, I don't know. He's like, Asian American guy. But anyway, I forgot the guy's name. I used to have it on the tip of my tongue. Some of you guys probably seen the interview. But that was brought up. It was like, okay, well, look what happened before Gensler. Look what happened. Was it Jay Clayton? In the past. So these guys, when the new administration came in, they would they would, like, day one they would just resign. Do we see that with Gensler? I don't think so. I think that guy is such a pain in the that he's gonna fight it all the way. The guy's the biggest or the worst example of a turncoat. I mean, his interviews at MIT, or not interviews, but doing classes.
Yeah.
He even mentions Ripple. He even mentions like Algorand. You know, he's the Benedict Arnold of crypto.
Well, I mean, just today, I was talking about it in the live stream this morning. Just today, he actually sent another Wells notice over to Immutable X. Like he's not stopping. We're literally like 4 days away from the election, and dude's just not stopping, right? So, and it makes me think to myself, is somebody telling him via, Elizabeth Warren or whatever, your time is limited, do as much damage as you can and get the hell out of there, right? Because what you're like, I do agree with what you were saying. I don't think he will willfully resign, though he did resign from the CFTC. But what it took for him to do that was actually that he was under investigation because he was using his personal email instead of his work email to conduct work. And his excuse was that he didn't know how to open his work email at home. So that, like, this guy's supposed to be like a generational intellect, right? I don't know if you know that about his past. He was actually, he's actually was considered like a genius in university and college, right? And this genius couldn't figure out how to open his work email at home. I don't think that's flying with anybody, right? So he ended up resigning from the CFTC when they put the squeeze to him, right? So the question is, but the problem is back then he didn't have people like Elizabeth Warren protecting him. But if John Deaton can unseat her, that'd be interesting.
I mean, I wish I last saw that he's down in the polls, but you never know. I mean, things could change on the day of the election. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's literally, what, 4.5 days away. So,
well, that's the thing, yeah. And again, like I showed you on the Bitcoin chart there, I really don't think it matters one way or another who wins the election. I mean, I think it's just going to be degrees. There's theories out there that, if Trump wins and you're going to see about a 30% run on Bitcoin off, in the immediate future. But then so basically what people are saying, analysts are saying, is they're anticipating about at least $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year if Trump wins, and about a $75,000 Bitcoin, maybe $80,000 Bitcoin if Kamala Harris wins. No matter what, you're getting a pump. For me personally, I think Bitcoin and crypto are going to do their thing no matter what. We're just at that part of the market where we're getting ready to soar. And, barring something, I mean, I've used the example 100 times. The 4-year cycle is the 4-year cycle. The whole world came to a literal stop for 2 years because of COVID. And that could not stop the 4-year cycle. Literally, businesses shut down. People couldn't leave their homes. The entire world stopped worlding, right? And it didn't stop the 4-year cycle. So,
no, it didn't stop it at all. And, we'll reference it in the future. I'm just, the way I look at it, I'm positioned for these cycles on these altcoins. I'm also positioned for what's going to happen in a future utility cycle, which is no one can reference the utility run because it's never happened. And I get it. Some people feel as though like, put more focus on meme coins or put more focus on, the ones that are pumping right now. But we finally have indicators that in 2025, some things should finally happen. Now, that means I think we're going to see some things go up, but I'm also prepared for like things like 2030. I think that's going to be the top of the top. If I had to put money on the very, very top, like when we look at, like, for example, you talk about the 4-year cycle, the previous cycle with BTC 11/11 2021, 69K BTC. So for me, it's like, okay, what would be the top of the top as far as like a utility run? Well, I don't think we get to like crazy mass adoption until 2030, but I still think there's a lot of money to be made in utility tokens and coins, especially like late 2025. There has to be, when we talk about supply and demand, there has to be something that would happen. And like when you talked about the whole thing of an XRP ETF, and you're like, do I feel, what are my thoughts about that and so on? When we referenced it before, like you didn't see a lot of price action in it. Well, if Ripple is all about, for example, like Brad Garlinghouse said, their focus is not on retail. Okay. So if we're having a lot of retail, like some granny's like, I don't know where she's going to, Grayscale or some of these other ones, right? And trying to open up doing some investments and so on. It's like, so wait, she hasn't heard about XRP, but that's just retail money. That doesn't even compare to like ODL. And to me, that's the main selling point for Ripple XRP. It's not like this concept of the ETFs. The price may move a little bit, but when we talk about a lot coming in, regulations have to be a real thing. That is going to be people say the flip of the switch, but in reality, I think it is. And then from there, on-demand liquidity, that's going to be worth so much more to the big money than just some granny going to an exchange, an ETF for XRP. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not flooding that. I just think that the big money, that has not happened yet, obviously, for XRP. Maybe that's me being long-winded, but that's the way I look at it.
I think you're right there. There's a lot of worry though about the Ripple stablecoin, and I mean, you obviously know about it. It's probably been going around for, at this rate, holy crap, I don't even know, maybe since they first started mentioning it, 6 months, 7 months, something like that, maybe a year. People worried about the RLUSD, is that what it is?
Yeah, RLUSD, yep.
And about how they're going to embed in XRP. But from my understanding of the ledger, you actually need XRP still, even with the stablecoin.
Yeah, they're not forgetting about, like somebody else brought up the same thing you're talking about. A guy in my community, I'm not gonna say who it is. I mean, he's a nice guy. But he had some worry too, because he was looking at Circle and he was like, man, I mean, are our native assets, which is XRP and XLM, are they, the Lumens, for example, are they even going to be used? And it's like, the answer still is yes. The native coin, the native token, so it has to be used. I mean, people ask about that in regards to like Quant. They're like, oh, I see all these examples of what Quant's got going on with this and Quant's got going on with that. Do you have anything to reference? Yeah, I got something to reference. Out of the horse's mouth, Gilbert Verdian, and even written in literally on their site, I believe in their white paper, talking about how the QNT token is used. It's just, people are like, oh, it's the ERC20 token. It's a key. It's just a key to open up a suite of products through the overledger. Just kind of like what literally Gilbert Verdian talked about. Look at the Apple App Store. You know what I mean? You're opening up a suite of products, and then people say, well, what about settlement? Heck, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen this before. Have you ever seen the Overledger demo about settling an XRP? You ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen that, no.
It's like a minute. Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guess what? It's a real thing. Because so there's the regulated liability network. There's the regulated settlement network. So when people want to flood QNT and say like, oh, it's just an ERC20 token, they have not properly researched Quant. They don't realize that it could, you're leveraging all of these blockchains. And if anything, yeah, because the interoperability, you could settle in that particular token.
But does that surprise you that they were talking? But does that surprise you that they were talking like that about it without doing any research?
Oh no, well, of course not. I mean, nothing against people. I get it. There's only so much time in a day. I mean, my God. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna share. I think I don't. Yeah, I was thinking I had to be a host, but I can actually share this. So we're gonna see on your screen. It's not super long. I think it's like about a minute, maybe a little bit longer. But it goes into some of this detail, everybody, about all of these key things, and I think it's more than worth pointing out. So this is called Quant's Overledger demo. Might as well use the XRP example. There's been more than a few examples, especially recently, in regards to them even settling with XDC. So check this out. Here it is on the screen, or as soon as you share it.
Quant's demo application showcases Overledger's API and provides an example of how to build an application with the client side and server side using Overledger 2.0. Overledger 2.0 uses OAuth 2 to authenticate API requests. This token will be used in the authorization header of your API calls to Overledger. The demo application showcases the single transaction and linked transaction features, as well as enabling the creation of subscriptions, which receive status updates about transactions submitted to a DLT via a callback URL. For single transactions, first select a DLT, enter an origin ID, a destination ID, and a destination amount. Once done, click Create. The demo app will show an API output screen to demonstrate the steps that takes place each time an API call is made to Overledger. The API output screen has been slowed down for viewing. Accepting the DLT transaction fee will initiate the signing of the transaction and then execute the transaction through Overledger. The details of the transaction can then be viewed and subscribed to receive status updates to the callback URL. Subscribing to the transaction, Overledger will return a subscription ID, where clicking on transaction details will call the MDAP transaction API to retrieve status updates from Overledger, and clicking on full details will search the DLT for the transaction information. For linked transactions, select the DLT that the initial transaction will be on, and which DLT will have the audit of the transaction. The initial transaction will follow the same flow as the single transaction, and once it has been executed and subscribed to, transaction updates will appear in the subscriptions page. Once the transaction is successful, an audit button will appear on the subscriptions page that will initiate the audit transaction creation flow. On the subscription page, we can also unsubscribe from receiving updates if we wish.
I think that's it.
I never seen that before. Interesting.
Yeah, that was one of their earlier demos. Of course, they come a long way since then. Let me just remove that. So, I mean, there's there's Make, there's Zapier, and on that, there's literally, they used to boast 3 lines of code. Now it's no lines of code. And I've given examples because people have always asked about this, like, X payments. It literally shows the Overledger connecting to the X platform. Does an API call? And people are like, well, that's an API call. What about an actual transaction? Hello? Yes. And if anything, if you want to select the XRPL for that, as you saw in the demo, that's a real thing. And we've shown other examples in regards to XDC. And yeah, you have to have QNT to use the Overledger. And there was another example not that long ago, I think even with UDPN, right? Because UDPN selected XRP and XLM, literally says it in writing. And for big enterprise use, that's $20,000 per month for not commercial banks, but like the central banks. That's crazy. So yeah, there's some real things going on, whether it's Quant, all this stuff. So glad to share it.
Well, that's one of the things, right? Is that a lot of people that say these things about Quant, XRP, Stellar, whatever it is that it's damaging when they don't do the research, because they are saying things like you just highlighted, like the demo just highlighted. They're saying things that are actually the opposite of what's real, what's true, right? Like, so they spread these unnecessary fears, and that's why these ISO 20 or ISO 22 tokens, they end up having being an acquired taste. You either love them or you despise them, right?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not defending that one guy. What's his name? Marinal or Manal, whatever his name is, from Casper. I don't know if you saw the news about that. He with a screenshot. Yeah, he told, from Telegram, like for retail, pardon this expression, his expression, not mine, retail can go F themselves. Literally, all you guys can go F. I'm like, that is not what a CEO does. I mean, just because I could come here and, there might be some guy literally in this chat right now, I can almost guarantee it's just like, Quant, price don't move much. Garbage token. All right. I'm standing by my research. I mean, at the end of the day, like, they're going to do some real things. They are literally a standard for a reason. I mean, it doesn't matter if somebody from retail doesn't see it that way. It's going to do its thing eventually. But I get it. At the end of the day, I just provide research. I don't get emotionally attached to somebody bashing the coins or the tokens I cover. I could care less. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, sometimes I try to, I say it fight the FUD, but I'll try to, clear up misinformation when it gets spread by certain content creators or something. I'll come out and give the actual facts instead of But outside of that, I'm the same way as you. I mean, it actually, I used an example about 2 weeks ago, and there was this guy that I'm not going to name him or anything, but he's always been a very, very avid JASMY enthusiast on X. And then he just out of nowhere just came out one day and was just like, I'm sick and tired of this. The prices have moved. The team needs to do something. All this stuff, right? And to me, that's just signs that the market is getting to you. It's doing exactly to you what it's designed to do to you, right? And what perplexes me is that somebody puts their money into a project and their effort, their research, their time, and it's not doing what they want when they want. And then when you start making negative posts on social media about it and tagging the project in it, you're actually working against your own investment now, because everyone who sees that tag is now seeing your negative comments about the project going, maybe I shouldn't invest in this project because this guy says it sounds like crap, right? Like the price doesn't do anything according to him. It's perplexing to me how people can't figure that stuff out. You're actually hurting yourself,
And that's the thing I mentioned too. It's like, and and people wonder why solid projects like Quant, they don't post a lot on X anymore. They post mainly over on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has literally became the institutional social media platform. And for people like myself, I go there, I get those nuggets, if you will, to provide the community that, because I want to see what's going on, and and then you look more into it, and it's like, yeah, this person sits on this committee, and people are like, well, I didn't see any of that posted on X. Hello, yeah, there's a reason why you don't see it posted on X, because you're part of the retail narrative of why they don't want to post on X. They don't want, it would be like, and I'm not trying to be political, trust me, I'm not. But like you're hosting a campaign rally, right, for your particular party. Let's just call it the Freedom Party or something like that. And then you have some guy that doesn't represent your values at all, and you're really into this really amazing outline of what you guys are looking to do and solve in the world. And this person comes in, storming in, crazy, off the wall, out in left field, Mars or whatever, right? And it just derails everything. Do we not see that in X? We see it all the time. So what you see on LinkedIn is a whole different thing. You know what I mean? On there, you see institutions interacting. They have their own thing. So I always go there because I know that's, you want to get some, as the saying goes, some of that alpha. You got to go to some of these other places. You can't just, don't get me wrong, I use X all the time. I consider part of my utility tool belt for researching. But LinkedIn, for the last, I would say, probably about a good year and a half, like they've been killing it when it comes to providing what we really need, what really matters, not that retail narrative of price don't move much, you doggy. You know what I mean? Like, okay, buddy.
Well, it's something I've been trying to pound home lately. I'm trying to re-educate people, trying to get them to re-educate their own minds, because at the end of the day, because of social media, we have it's a double-edged sword. It's it's good for research, but man, is it bad for the immature mindset of people. And so I've been on the channel, been trying to help people realign their way of thinking, so that if you want to be a true professional investor, you have to behave like one, right? You don't see people who these multimillionaires and billionaires, you don't see them on social media saying Microsoft sucks, buy Apple, like S stock, right? You don't see that stuff. You know what I mean? They behave like professionals, and they care more about promoting and researching the stuff that they're focused on making money on, as opposed to trying to bury something else, right? And you got to get out of that mindset. And it's so easy in social media to get sucked into that kind of mindset, where it's like he said, she said. It's like going to work in some workplace that has a lot of toxic clicky stuff, and you get pulled into it. Yeah.
I work, I do work 3 jobs 7 days a week, and about 10% of it's out in the field, and I have to go way out. Like if anybody's ever been to Phoenix, like you drive 2.5 hours east, you're still in Phoenix. You drive 2 hours north, you're in like northern Arizona, Flagstaff. It's like, what the heck, right? But my thing is, I'm blessed to have, remote positions and so on. And, it's like, yeah, it's crazy to, you know, back to what you're saying. Basically, I forgot where I was going with that. You know,
You
but
like to be alone?
well, it's just, man. I mean, there's a lot of noise, as the saying goes. You know, that's the point I'm trying to make.
100%, man. 100%. That's actually a quick side note or quite side story there that I actually, the bar, when I took over, I told you I went over there because a friend of mine owned it. And when I took over, it was that toxic, clicky, you know, kind of environment. And now that I'm gone, like what the first thing I did was I ended up eliminating all of that. And it's one of the first workplaces that I have ever seen in my 43 years on this planet where everyone just loved everybody else, and there was no he said, she said, toxic kind of stuff, right? And I was proud to leave those kids in that position. So I was, you know,
That's
it's good,
cool, man. Right on. Yeah.
you know, put some good into the world, man. Put some good into the world, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, I've probably had a few like that in the past. You know, when I was teaching and so on. But even teaching, you get somebody that just doesn't see eye to eye, like wants you to follow everything by the book. You know, and it's just like, anyway.
yeah, 100%, man. Um, I was going to ask you though, back to what you were saying about the meme coin versus utility, and I don't know if you saw it. I was looking for it. I can't find it right now. I'm going to find it for Sunday to play for you. But it was Charles Hoskinson going off on degen meme coin investors, right? Because
Oh
somebody took a picture of him, his Halloween costume, and made a meme coin. So he's pissed right off about it, right? So he went on like a 2.5 minute rant about how people who buy meme coins are degens, and you know, utility is going to drive the market. And for me, while I agree with what he's saying in principle, not that I have anything against meme coins, I think that their utility is actually onboarding new retail investors into the market, similar to Doge and Shiba Inu. But um, unfortunately, we're not functioning in a market right now currently where utility drives the market. I believe one day we will get there, but it's not now. So for Charles to go off and be name calling people who invest in meme coins, let the degens have their fun.
He must be hanging out with Manal of Casper. That's all I can say. I mean, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, this is spreading. This is becoming a disease, right? So it's like, get over yourself. You know, I said it yesterday. I was doing a collaboration with Adam, Vibrant Finance, and I said, you know, I'm not going to be a utility snob. You know, there's utility snobs. There really, really is. Some people might have thought I was a utility snob. I'm not a utility snob. I am not going to turn a blind eye to opportunity, whether it's meme coins or you name it. I might actually even introduce a particular meme coin. Maybe you already know about it. I mean, you probably do. What was it? Speedy. It's got 100% on the token sniffer score.
We
What is shit pronounced? I mean, what's so bad about that?
we
Right?
actually we actually did a swing trade on Speedy about 2 weeks ago on my Patreon, and we made about 790% in about 2.5 weeks. So
That's
yes,
awesome, man. You're killing it, man. Yeah, that's awesome. See, you got some, you know, internet of value. The internet of value over at Crypto Future 99, you know, like look at this guy, man. You know, he's got all these thumbnails of, you know, him pumping iron. He's Rob Nass. He used to work out what he still does in the gym. He was a former you know, world wrestling, you know, I can't even do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you're always pumping iron, and you got those thumbnails, you all look ripped and stuff. And but I saw you, man. Remember we did a collaboration a long time ago, and it's like you're all body slamming. You're doing your thing, man. That's awesome, man. So, you know.
I actually, funny story. I actually got contacted from a friend of mine. He runs a promotion up here, and every year he does a he does a 50-man battle royal, like Royal Rumble, right, on one of his bigger shows. And he texted me, and he asked me if I was interested in doing you know, I don't want to call it a comeback, kind of just like a, you know, a one-time shot return, because he knows I'm retired. I have my body can't handle that anymore. But he's like, yeah, you want to, you know, make a return. It'll be a big surprise for the Royal Rumble and stuff like that, right? And I thought about it for a few weeks, and I was like, my wife will kill me, so no, I better not.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I mean, as much as I want to go play some basketball, I'm like, I'm not even remotely in that type of shape, man. I'm like, I'm in bad shape, like I get into shape, but I'm always seeing that, you're doing your thing. Like you're in your car. Nice. I don't even know what kind of car it is. It looks pretty nice though. You got that roof going on, the sunroof, and
it's a Beamer.
Yeah, sometimes I can't comment because I'm driving down the road. I can't text and drive. I mean, but yeah, you're always talking about getting to the gym, and I'm just like, yeah, just like your internet of value channel, you're doing it, hoping the iron.
Well, when I come down to Arizona, man, I'm going to drag your ass down to the gym. We're going to get a workout.
My friend, he's going to have me start doing that with him on the buddy pass or whatever. So I'm going to be doing it. So it's cool. Does it look like I lost 21 pounds again? I ended up getting it back a while back, but this last month I lost 21 pounds. I just completely cut out regular soda. That's it. It was, my friend said, you want to lose weight easy, just cut out the Cokes, all that stuff. And so, yeah, you know what I mean? I still drink like diet, but I just didn't eat all that sugar, man. So 21 pounds in about a month and a half.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Just cutting the soda out, right? We call it pop here in Canada, but soda.
I call it pop too. I mean, not down here in Phoenix. Like I'll say something, like when I used to drink a lot, I'll be like, yeah, you want to drink? I'm like, sure. What kind of pop you got? They're like, what?
The hell's a pop?
Yeah, I'm from Oregon. That's what they used to always call it, right over there. So I'm with you. It's pop, man. Yeah.
I'm actually bad right now. I'm eating little Aero bars.
I'm probably gonna freaking scrape the darn spackle off the wall or something here in a bit, man. I have not ate no breakfast, no lunch, no. So I just was balls to the wall all day long since early morning. So,
did you give out candy?
Yesterday, no. I mean, I could have, but I didn't really even have time to even sit at the, because we're doing the show. You know what I
mean? Yeah. I tuned in for your show for a little bit. I was driving around. I was with the little guy there. He likes to go door to door, so I'll put the headphones on in the phone and I'll just listen to. I was listening to you for a while I was.
Oh, right on. I appreciate that. No, I have nothing against Halloween. I mean, it's it's a day that people look forward to, whether it's candy or time with your family or especially the kids. I mean, shoot, man. What's so bad about that?
100%. Some people, they get all, I'm Christian and stuff, so it's like pagan holiday, this, that, and the other thing. Some people get upset, but hey, you know what? My son, he's turning 5. He needs to be able to go out and do that thing, and he's going to be going to a private school next year, and see what happens from there. But
right, yeah, he just needs to go have fun, be a kid. You don't need to hear, and I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who try to trick or treat my blockchain brothers with orange and black, the JASMY colors. Like whoa, hey, right? Like
I'm
just trying to go trick or treating here, buddy. Like what's going on here? Scam,
I've been trying to play with the idea of getting another JASMY roundtable together, but man, Jesse has been he's been like off the radar for like 4 months. I'll message him. He'll message me back like 3 weeks later. He's like, yeah, just doing this, that, or the other thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'll message you tomorrow. Then I don't hear from him for 2 months. I think he's doing well. I know he's doing well, but
I know he's got a lot going on. Like, he does like music, and he's got, he's got a lot of stuff going on. But you know what? I'm gonna call it right now. You want to see him back is when things get super, super bullish, and we get some of these nice gains. Kind of like, when JASMY went to like 4.4 cents, and we were at all-time highs for market cap, not price per coin, guys, but market cap. I think like when we, when you were talking about like BTC maybe getting to like 100K, depending on like who gets back. Yeah, I'm calling it. That's when you're going to see him. And that's cool. I'm cool with that. The guy put in the work long before myself and other people came along, right? So it's like, he gets the right to take a break, right? So
yeah. If you're watching, Jesse, we miss you, buddy. Come on back.
Absolutely.
We need to do a roundtable.
KIR Finance, keeping it real since 1982. Keeping it real since 1981, baby. Class of 1999.
I had Brian on the channel about a month ago. I'm hoping to get him back on again. Maybe we can do another collaboration there, because I messaged him about talking about the going live on the test net and stuff like that, and kind of want to get his thoughts on that and stuff. So maybe we'll do something, but I'll try to connect with him. We'll figure it out. I'll touch base with you again, and we'll get her done, man.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to do that again. I mean, that was pretty neat last time, and there was a lot of great research. I mean, especially Brian, Jesse, those guys kill it with it. JASMY US, so
yeah, those guys are the best for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
And you too, brother. You bring some alpha too, man. So don't cut yourself short.
I'm like if we're talking about like the Seven Dwarves, I'm like Dopey, right? I just kind of follow the other.
You're Dopey.
I'm the guy that follows the other dwarves around.
Well, then what the heck am I?
You're like Sleepy or something.
I'm sleepy. Oh, because of my sleep apnea. I see what's going on. Yeah, that's right. People ask why does Max always have a black eye? It's sleep apnea, bro. It's a real thing. We should do the CPAP. I tried to do the CPAP. I can't tolerate it. We should do this. I understand all the things I should do. We should do this also. Okay. All right. Back to the top. Right.
Well, you know what I did? It took me about 8 months to get used to my machine. It took like,
wow.
So
you had problems with it?
Well, I would take it off in the middle of my sleep. I would wake up and it would be off, right? And yeah. My doctor kept calling me and yelling at me, like, stop taking it off. We're trying to get readings. Well, I'm like, I'm asleep, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But over time, I just consistently use it every night. Now, the whole night, I don't take it off. In fact, I kind of rely on it now. I sleep better with it now. So, I mean, persevere, brother. Persevere.
Yeah, no doubt. I hear you on that. What is this? Kunk City. Max, you're definitely Cinderella in our hearts. Oh, my God. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's fun.
Multi-Planet Pro says music. Yeah. Multi-Planet Pro likes to make music, actually. So you mentioned that Jesse was doing music.
Yeah. I mean, I did a few things on my own channel with the AI, which is cool because it doesn't get flagged for the copyright. So.
Yeah. I get heat by relatives by call it pop instead of something. It's funny you said heat. It's a wrestling term.
Man, I've been calling it pop since I was probably since I could talk, man. Yeah, yeah, I've always called it pop.
Multiplanet says, would love to see some deep dives with them together. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we did. I mean, you can look back. I mean, how many? We must have done 3 or 4 of those JASMY roundtables where there was like 3 or 4 of us every time, right, Max? You were there for almost every single one of them.
I think I was there for every single one of them, except for there was a couple times I think it was you and Jesse, just you two, and I wasn't able to attend some of those. But as far as the roundtables, yeah.
Those were a lot of fun. We got to get more of those going. Glad to see Rob and Max together again live. Hopefully they are more frequent. Yes.
Well, you're going to see it on Sunday, brother. Thank you, Bruno.
Yeah. We're going to be collabing on this Sunday. And thing is, like we used to collab far more often, but we both got super busy with our personal lives, right? So I think you're muted, brother.
Sorry. A good thing I'm collaborating with you. I've been seeing that for a while. Anyway, the good thing about I guess having more than one job is like, for me, it's just doing one job. I'm not going to be realistically accumulate what I want. Never financial advice. That's just the way I look at it. It's like someday in my life, I'm going to look back and say, look, this was the time that you could have accumulated the heck out of stuff. And you didn't do it. You just got too comfortable or whatever the case be. I mean, I have no excuse. I don't have a toxic girlfriend anymore who is going to, be nagging me to death, which is cool. So that I don't have to worry about that. And if anything, I could focus on work and I could focus on doing the stuff I bring to the community. And I'm going to finally be able to do me for a change. And you know what? I don't apologize for that anymore. You know, there's something about looking out for numero uno. You know, like I did an assessment. Shout out to Will Fix, his wife. She did this assessment thing. She was like, you need to find out like what number you are. And it said something like category with 2 was you put your own needs, others' needs over your own needs. And I took this assessment and said that clearly I'm that. She too is that way. She's anyway. So I was just like, wow. She was like, so it's understandable that all that time for many years you do that. Well, I'm not trying to make myself look cool, but in reality, it's like I have no excuse now. You know, so 3 jobs, 7 days a week. So what? You know, I mean, I don't have to like it, but I just don't. I didn't see anything else really opening up where it's like, yeah, you talk about wanting to stack this or get this, you know, when it's like clear, you know, near all-time lows or whatever. I got to do that on one job. Something has to give. So 3 jobs, 7 days a week. Here we are, right? Anyway,
I was doing the same thing. Yeah, I was working 3 jobs, and it's just, you know, the way I was looking at it is, you know what, I want to retire 100%. Like I'm semi-retired now, but I want to fully do whatever you want. Screw you, world money. You know, take my son and just go wherever we want, whenever we want, traveling, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And I want to do that by the end of 2029's bull run, right? Where it's like, where at that point, I'm just doing this crypto thing for fun at that point, right? So yeah, I mean, that's what I talk about all the time on the channel is like people tell me, well, I don't have any dry powder today. Man, get out, do something, plow driveways, cut grass, find a second job, doing something, right? There's a million things you could do besides watching Netflix. If you're watching Netflix for 2 or 3 hours a day, that's 2 or 3 hours a day you could be monetizing somehow to get some dry powder to accumulate. And while, like Max was saying, it sucks right now, the harder you work now, the sooner you can retire and do what you want to do after that, right? It's similar. It's in life. Lowering your exit price point is what I call it, right? If you're buying JASMY or whatever, right, and you want to get $1 million out of JASMY, then you got to calculate how much you need to sell it at to get to $1 million. And when you get there, then you keep accumulating and you lower your exit price point by still get the amount of money that you want. It's the same thing in life, right? You work, you grind, make as much as you can to accumulate whatever projects it is that you believe in. You're lowering your exit price point for retirement, exiting the working world, right?
Exactly. And there's so many things you can do in regards to that exit, you know, like a project I've covered since the first project I ever covered. Some people think it's Quant and JASMY. It's actually not. It's Clearpool. Talked about it yesterday. So it's still very, very low market cap. And they are, as we speak, utility in motion. That's one thing I love about it. It's a capital markets ecosystem. I've done like 50 videos on it. Maybe it sounds like it's a shill, but it's a solid project. And the cool thing is this. It has been killing it. Absolutely killing it. 2 weeks ago it was like 13 cents. It's up over like, I think 20, 21, 22 cents. And on the year, it's up over 1,000%. And it's just like, why aren't enough people talking about this particular one? But the cool thing is this. So when we talk about exit plans, I've seen you talk about exit plans. So it's like they have a slogan and that goes like this. Don't let your stable coins just sit around collecting dust. And the way I look at it, in the future, we understand that things can change. Things, you know, nothing's ever a guaranteed thing. But, you know, I'm going to try my best to not create taxable events as much as I can. You know, I think that's just a good thing to do. So in the future, you know, when we talk about, especially you talk about a lot, taking profits and whatnot, you know, it's like, well, all right, nothing wrong with taking profits. Have a plan. Obviously, you, Rob, you have a real plan. Awesome. So for me, it's like, I look at platforms like Clearpool. It's like, yeah, I can, instead of cashing out into fiat, which would definitely create a taxable event, and just, you know, getting rid of all that capital, right? I could actually swap it into some of these particular stable coins, and then on their particular platform, especially, have a pretty nice yield. And in the past, I've dealt with VCs just on a personal level, and you know, like you know, we're talking about getting to where you have your dream. So my dream is to make a couple video games. in the future. You know, this is why I just research the crap out of this stuff. So that's my dream, and I'm going to get to my dream. There's nothing going to stop me from getting to my dream. I'm so determined more than ever. But at the same time, you know, it's like I look at like, yeah, cashing out. Do I really want to cash out all into fiat? I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it. I don't think I'm going to do all of it. And that platform, what they got going on, I mean, if the VCs I dealt with in the past, I mean, my God, VCs, whether especially if they're the newer ones, you know, they need to raise capital like crazy. And that Clearpool platform is definitely that's the thing for them. And the cool thing is this, it's like, you know, they don't have to put up a bunch of collateral. Well, that's more utility being put into motion. So they're killing it. They have solid utility. And again, something to look into. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of projects that you're into that I don't know about either, vice versa. But yeah, up over 1,000% on the year. Crushing it.
Well, I was actually looking up the other day. I talked about on a live stream. Visa partnered with Coinbase and I can't remember, Coinbase and someone else. That they're creating a Visa card where you're able to spend your crypto, whether it's stablecoin or whatever. So you really don't, you know, I do believe we're moving into a future where we are not going to have to be spending our fiat, like making our crypto back into fiat and then keeping it in a bank account. And I think that's the future that banks have been fighting so hard against, is that very thing, being able to, now that Visa's involved and you're going to be able to use your card to spend stablecoin as opposed to keeping your money in a bank account. That is every banker's worst nightmare coming to life right now in front of us.
Right. You're 100% right. And, you know, we can criticize the central banks all we want, like, you know, some of the conspiracies of like CBDCs and oh God, you know, and I get it, guys. Trust me, you're not speaking to the choir, but look at some of those central banks, like the Bank for International Settlements. Look at Banque de France, the oversight of the biz. Look at Basel, BCBS. That's a supervisory committee, which is a committee that supervises what's going on with the central banks. So it's like I just named three. All of these ones, that's, as Rob would say, there's your smart money. They recognize that blockchain and distributed ledger technologies is where they need to take it to the next level, and they already are doing that. We've seen numerous examples of that. So what about like the retail banks and so on? How many examples have we really seen already about, you know, what projects, whether it's Stellar, like, you know, what is it? We see HSBC, we see Wells Fargo, we see a Bank of America. I mean, there's so many examples, and it's just like there's a difference between go live of March 2023 when it went live, and again, a full-fledged mandate. Mandates mean people have to use, you know, you have to do this. You have to use this. You know, it's like I can walk into an empty room all day and somebody could say, well, you know, technically we're open. Yeah, you're open. All right. Is anybody here? Nobody's here. All right. But if you made a mandate that said everybody has to go there, well, now we're talking business.
Yep. 100%, brother. 100%. You mentioned fiat, so I had to put that meme up on.
Oh, yeah. Why do these cryptocurrency people hate us so much? Leave us alone. That's a funny one. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was a good sense of humor.
Yeah. I like some of the old comics, even the ones that kind of offend people, like Dilbert. You know, Dilbert went away, and anyway.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, listen, I gotta go do something with the wife there, so I'm looking forward to Sunday, man. I'm looking forward to shooting the crap with you a little bit, and maybe some alpha, mix in a little bit of.
There won't be no maybe. There will be. I asked you if it was okay to share that.
Oh, yeah.
You said it was going to be casual. I said it's casual. It's okay to share alpha. Remember? You know, I am telling on you a little bit. And you're like, it's okay. So I will bring, I guess you guys could call it alpha or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah. But, I mean, it's your show. I don't want to dominate it at the same time. But, yeah, glad to be here with you again. Rob, looking forward to Sunday. I think we agreed on, 4 Eastern, 3 Central, your time.
10-4, good buddy.
Yeah, 1 p.m. my time. So looking forward to it, and you guys rock. And if anything, I know you got to get going, but I'm gonna finally grab a bite to eat for the first time today. What the heck is wrong with me? Scam. So yeah.
Actually, I got to put something up first before you go.
Guys, yeah, it's only 8:55 out here, out in the west.
Guys, I want to make sure that you guys are going over. Make sure you go over to Max's page and shoot him a sub, guys. This is it right here on your screen right now. If you want some of the best deep dive, content, guys. I mean, we're talking, massive quant here, guys. We're talking mega JASMY. Like I got JASMY right here, right? Stellar, lots of good stellar stuff. BSV. This is your one-stop shop. Well, your two-stop shop because you got to stay here too. Okay, but go over, right, shoot Max a sub.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed rest of your Friday and Saturday. I'm actually gonna be putting some content out. It'll be on my channel maybe later tonight or tomorrow. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep you, man. Thanks again, Rob. Really appreciate you, brother.
Okay, brother. See you on Sunday.
See ya.